Alright, so while I was closing up the case, I just wanted to do a quick video showing all the torque specs and how to do this. Alright, so we're closing up the case. I've cleaned everything off with brake cleaner, and we're going to work at this pretty quick. I already have the silicone on the other half of the transmission case. I like to do both sides. Yeah, it ends up with a bunch of extra, but do you really want to pull your transmission because it's leaking oil? Just put a thin layer on both sides and be done with it. I've already done this a couple times in this transmission because I lost my footage. So it's already seeing more silicone in my hands than it has in its entire life. But this transmission is probably going to get pulled and inspected every winter anyways, so it better get used to it. Time to move the other half. Now you need the weight to this side, and as it goes down, we're going to bring the knob right into that groove. So we're going to look through, make sure we're going right into that groove. There we go. You're in there. Our snap ring is going to come into contact here in just a second. There it is. I take a rubber mallet. There we go. There it went. Now we're going to start just a couple bolts. There we go. Looks like it's sealed all the way around. So generally after you put the case on, you have everything siliconed up. We'll get a few bolts set in there. We'll make sure that the bearing snap ring gets locked in. If it doesn't, all you gotta do is rock it, shake it a couple times, set it back down, and it should be locked up. So as you can see, that is closed up. Now we're going to go ahead, make sure we can shift. We don't have sixth anymore, but we do have reverse. Alright, so it looks like everything's good. We're going to go ahead, put all these bolts in. We just want to check that because if anything happened as far as like the synchronizers getting out of alignment or the gear not being right, you would definitely tell something wouldn't work right. two of these in the wrong spot. Don't worry, they're all the same size, just this one had a pickup on it. Or an anchor, whatever you want to, pickup point, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to go ahead and just use the drill. We're just going to barely snug them up. Alright. Get our torque wrench. We're going to go to 20 foot-pounds. And we're going to just start right here. And we'll go crisscross. So just pick a point on the other side. And we'll just keep bouncing back and forth. That's 14, so we're going to have to change. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is put in the shift selector ball bearings, I guess, what do you want to call them? There's one here. That takes a long spring. The spring sticks out of the bolt a little bit. One right here. This is a short one. It's below the bolt. There's 3 up here. These are all long. Be really careful here. Don't drop your bolt down in the reverse lockout. These 2 are long. And then the other short is just on the opposite side of the case from this one. Okay, we're just going to use the drill to speed this up. We're not going to hammer down on them. We should be able to use our shifter. So we have first, second, third, fourth, fifth, there's no sixth, reverse. So everything's working right. We can go ahead and torque these down. Now these are 16 foot-pounds. Next, we'll do our strainer. Put the spring on top of it. And then the cap. We're going to oil this down just a little bit, just to make sure it goes down nice and easy. Now these 10s, they're only rated for 8 foot-pounds. I think it's like 8.7 or something. Same thing with these. And then the same thing with the sensors. These are still like the 8 foot-pounds. That's the same with the oil check hole. So this is the drain. Now the drain's 29 foot-pounds. And we can go ahead and do that. This is just for the specific kind of people. So this torque wrench actually only goes down to 10 foot-pounds, but that is close enough for these. You just got to be gentle. Drain was 29. We can go ahead and do that because it is all the way drained, so we're not going to be draining anything out of it. There we go. The fill cap, which is right here, which is still a 3/8 drive, that's 33 pounds. The reverse switch for your reverse lights, this is 22 foot-pounds, but I don't have a socket that'll reach that. So, good crescent wrench. Alright, the reverse lockout. So this has got a piston and a spring on it. So the spring goes down. We'll go ahead, just give that a drop of oil. Make sure it's moving free. And we're going to need some Honda bonnet. First I'm going to clean that with some brake cleaner and a rag. Looks like there's just a little bit of oil on there. Probably from when I dropped that piston in. Go ahead and change gloves. Apparently my hands are just a little sweaty. These gloves do not like that. Ah, there we go. Now make sure this pin right here is still in there. And just a real light coat. It doesn't take much. Kind of reminds me of the CPU paste, thermal paste. Like, no one can ever seem to agree on what the right amount is. Alright, so grab a pick, because this actually just goes just like that, and this thing will swing down. Get this thing as close as you can, and then pull the pick out, drop that on there. We're going to use this to hold all the bolts in place. And you want to start all the bolts before you crank them down. Just to make sure everything is in line. Just again, real light with the drill. We're not torquing it. And these are the 8 foot-pounds also. There we go. Looks like everything's done. We're going to double check. There we go. We have successfully assembled it. Next up, we have our lifting bracket. These are both 16 foot-pounds. I knew I'd forget something. We'll catch you guys in the next video.